their creativity enables them to know who they are as a person. Like when they start to express themselves, they start to understand themselves, and what talents they have. So like everybody's an artist. It doesn't matter who you are, you have an artist soul. And I'm trying to teach that a little bit, like just how easy it is to 3D model. Like you don't have to kitbash, you don't have to throw money away buying models. You can make them yourself in hours, not months. It's very easy with the tools we have now. You just know how, you have to spend 30 minutes to learn how to do it. That's it.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with me, your host, Nepherti. This is episode 65 of the podcast, so I sincerely appreciate your continued support. The reason why I can continue to do these and have been able to do these so long is because of your support. Those of you who are watching live right now, I sincerely appreciate you guys for always coming through, especially those of you who are in my community, and including those who are here supporting my guest for this evening. But I want to let you all know that I sincerely appreciate your support, whether you're just hanging out in chat or whether you're talking in chat or whether you've, financially helped me out in that way to help me to do this, because this is a full-time thing that I do. Very much appreciate your continued support. And I also want to thank not only my viewers on Twitch, but also my viewers on YouTube as well. You guys who are watching these over on YouTube, obviously the algorithm is very, very difficult to find VRChat content. So it's because of you guys liking my videos and watching them and sharing them with people. That will make all the difference when we're trying to let people know that there are other kinds of VRChat out there, VRChat content out there that is, a little bit less on the trolling side or whatever, whatever thing is going on in VRChat at the moment. So thank you all so much for doing that, and I hope you'll continue to do so. But before we get started tonight, I want to quickly thank those of you who have been supporting my Patreon. My Patreon is a way for people to get access to the post conversation that I often have with my guests. So those of you who've been supporting me on Patreon, thank you very much. My Patreon is patreon.com/Nepherti. Thank you all very much. It makes so much of a difference for those of you who are subbed over there. I'm especially grateful to my Snuggle and Ooh tier members. You guys have really, really come through for me, and I sincerely hope that you continue to find a reason to support me over there. But we'll talk a little bit about the Patreon later on in the podcast, near the end of the podcast. I'll bring it up again there. But for now, if you'd like to support me and help me continue to do what I do, please feel free to check out my Patreon if you so desire. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and get that out the way because we have a conversation to have this evening. So we're going to go ahead and welcome my guest, who is actually a guest I've actually wanted to have on for quite some time.
Yes, well, we spoke years ago.
Yeah, we did. Pursu, it's great to have you on.
Thank you.
It feels like it's a long time coming. So I'm very happy that we could work it out and make it happen. So I haven't told you this, and I typically do like a little bit of an icebreaker to kind of get things going, kind of smoothen things out, so I guess feels a little bit more comfortable. But your avatars were the first avatars that I bought when I first got into VRChat. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't know a whole lot when I first got into it about, it took me about a year to kind of understand what I could do with VRChat. Like, I guess not so much what I could do with it, but more so the idea of having an avatar that I've purchased, like purchasing an avatar, uploading it, having Unity, all that stuff. That took me a while to kind of to do, but once I kind of figured that out, I was like, oh yeah, Pursu's avatars. I actually still have many of them as well. So yeah, they were definitely my first ones.
Thank you for supporting me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I see you're wearing one of my assets.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. Which one, actually? Just out of curiosity.
Your bikini top is something I made.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's the, which one? Is it like,
Alex's bikini. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. The one that has
Yep.
like the underboob. Yeah.
Yep. It's free.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people have that one, for
Hmm.
sure. So, yeah, makes sense. Okay. All right. So, just to kind of kick things off, it's great to have you on. I really do appreciate you taking the time. So, to kind of get things moving, now they kind of kind of buttered you up a little bit. Um, so, I always like to ask my guests what, if you had to introduce yourself to someone in VRChat who doesn't know who you are, um, how would you introduce yourself? And you can embellish or have as much detail as you like. But how would you describe who Pursu is, based on your journey in this time so far?
Well, I don't play too much VR chat currently, just how busy my life is. But if I meet people in VR chat, I never really talk about modeling or what I do. I kind of just like join the atmosphere or the conversation that they're in. Uh, Not really someone that talks about myself much.
But if you had to.
But yes, if they took an interest in like my models, I would explain like the process and uh,
No, no, no,
how I
no.
got where I was.
About you. Like, how would you
Well,
introduce
yeah,
like who you are as a person?
I would explain.
Yeah.
I would explain who I am through like my work. Like, it's deeply ingrained in me. So my personality is like my avatars. So I do everything in my life is centered around my art. My house is set up for it, and so I kind of would explain what VRChat, is, and like how I got into it, and that I got on here to meet people and like kind of replace social activity in my life. But I make models, I make assets, and I teach. So I try to show people that it's not very hard to make models. It's not hard to make Scratch. You can do full Scratch in about a week if you're dedicated, working maybe 4 hours a day if you have a good workflow.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll be able to get YouTube videos out soon. So, but right now it's all VODs.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
explaining like what I do as I do it.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, I can definitely relate to the idea of being very connected with your work. I tend to describe myself as a content creator, but I like to hang out. I like to hang out at parties, dance. But yeah, I'm a content creator. I do lots of creative work, and I love to make cool content. So I definitely understand, kind of being very connected with your work in that way. What were you doing before you started doing this sort of like even like before like everything? Who were you before VR became such a prominent part of your life?
Yeah, so I've always been very anxious, socially, like isolated. So I didn't really do too much, and I was agoraphobic, so I couldn't really like go places and work jobs. But I was able to do DoorDash, so I did that for like a few years on the side while I taught myself 3D. I actually got started from people in VRChat. So there was a creator. She works under Soshi now, but her name at the time was Onigiri. She was dating a man named Boonscap. He's Evo Rain. He's an asset creator now, and they kind of like taught me Blender. And they just like let me hang out with them, like as I was doing their showcases for them in VRChat. And they kind of like let me watch them, and I kind of picked up things and asked a lot of questions, and took to it pretty naturally. Just with them enjoying the presence and just like the social environment of it.
Okay.
But I did DoorDash because I was trying to like force myself out of the house to beat the agoraphobia. So I did that, and then gym membership. So I kind of like broke through all of that through DoorDash and like through working out, and then this started kind of like taking over money wise for DoorDash, and so I just quit that completely and just do this full time.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely everyone has their own trajectory when it comes to that sort of thing. So I mean, it's really good to hear about yours for sure. So yeah, I know that you prefer to be like, not prefer to, but you don't really have a problem with being on camera, or just kind of showing, not even be on camera, but I guess showing like who you are IRL. Is there any particular like reasoning behind that? Because I know a lot of people in VRChat are very private, including myself. So yeah, what's the
exposure therapy? Like it's kind of like to show yourself that it's not so bad if you put it out there, you know?
Okay.
That's pretty much my philosophy on it.
Okay, just putting yourself out there for people to see in that way.
Pretty much an open book to anyone that asks anything.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, can you explain agoraphobia for people who are unfamiliar, and kind of tell a little bit about how you've shared how you were dealing with that, but what is it exactly and how it's affected you?
It's a fear of pressure, mainly from leaving the house, so you'll get sick when you leave the house. Very, very uncomfortable. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. You'll get dizzy in public spaces. It comes on through isolation, so it kind of starts as like depression and anxiety, and then it kind of develops the more you're isolated. So VRChat's great for like getting yourself out there and like beating those mental struggles.
Okay.
That's
okay.
good.
That's about it. All right. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, when it comes to you and your name, Pursu, where does your name originate from?
My motivation. I've always been incredibly motivated. At anything I do, I have to be the best at it. And so it's just like pursuing the next level of anything that I do. So if I'm not good at something, I don't just kind of accept it. I just kind of pursue it until I'm good at it.
Okay, got you. So it's more of pursue than pursue.
Yes.
In terms of pronunciation. Okay, I got you. Understood. Yeah, I've always thought it was a very interesting name. Definitely had a little bit of a feminine tonality to it, but
Yes.
have you encountered that confusion before? And what's that been like for you?
Well, I explored my gender and everything through VRChat. That was kind of like a whole ordeal itself that I'm still recovering from.
Recovering?
Yeah, it's not
Interesting word.
anything's wrong with it. I'm sorry, but so I'll explain why I put it that way. With my background with agoraphobia, I had confidence issues through everything, and people in VRChat kind of like just like, wow, you're talented, you're gifted, and it started like building that on me. And so I was easily influenced to be whatever people wanted me to be. And so it was very easy for people to take advantage. I've given pretty much like all the money I've made in VRChat, I've pretty much given away to people through VRChat and through my family. I pay their bills and everything, chemotherapy. Money's never really meant anything to me. But with VRChat, people will take advantage of that. And so, there is a trans community that, they welcomed me in, and any chance they got, they were pushing on me, like, you're trans, like, this about you is feminine, and, like, when are you gonna start taking HRT, and it was pushed on me. Pretty heavy. And then, so, I met someone, and they started, like, isolating me from my family that I was living with and paying their bills. And so I moved out from that situation, to Minnesota, like a, trans-friendly place, so I could start presenting female. And then when I got here, like, reality was, like, shifting for me with everything. And it didn't work out with this person because they were, like, starting to cut off parts of my old life from me, and I wasn't okay with that. And then it hit a point where they were doing some things I can't talk about, that so I ended things and cut it off from my business. I didn't want any part of anything or any drama. And then I kind of, like, started being comfortable with myself. Like, it was a rough time. I left everything behind to move here. What could fit in my car, my dogs, I took with me, and I rebuilt my life here. And then I kind of, like, just, going back to the gym and realizing that, like, hey, it's okay to, like, be a man, and I'm feminine, sure, but it's not wrong, like, I don't have to, like, be a woman for me to be happy with myself. So so the person that I was dating, they were charging me for therapy, and I found out they weren't a licensed therapist.
Oh my goodness.
And so they were practicing in VRChat, and they were prescribing HRT to me without a license.
That's wild.
Yes. And so that's a danger of VRChat that I really worry about people from. But I mean, I'm not sure what I can do about it, So just kind of let it go.
I mean, sharing your experiences is, like, that's one way, like letting people know that, like, it is important. I think VRChat has allowed a number of people to have the space to explore things, but it's when it becomes exploitative that it becomes problematic.
Exactly.
The idea of pushing things onto people, not letting them make their own decisions, and kind of steering them towards a certain way of thinking or living that's called grooming, even in an adult sense. It's still not ideal. So I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's really, really rough.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with my life now. I wouldn't have anything any other way.
Okay.
I'm very happy. Successful. I have a fiance now. We're having our first kid in January. We have dogs, cats. It's perfect. Love it.
Nice. Yeah, like I definitely would like to, like, if there's like if there, obviously we're not going to say names or anything, but I think discussing there is a value to what VRChat can offer people, but there's also an
Yes.
insidious, we'll say, insidious side
Yeah.
to what VRChat can offer a person in terms of figuring themselves out in that way.
Yeah.
How have you I guess I do kind of want to ask, like, how did you realize that it was just like it was not for you? Because like you don't really hear that very often.
Um. Yeah. So like when I it stopped when like I realized that I had to be convinced that my happiness was tied to gender. You know,
Mm.
like and through the changes and everything, like I realized that like my issues were not going away. They were just trying to convince me they were, you know? So that's kind of like what woke me up from it.
And what was the result? What was the result of that?
Um,
I
I
mean,
stopped everything.
in terms of like like the people that you were interacting with. It sounds like you were like with a group of people. Like you said that you said the
Yes,
trans
yeah.
community in VR chat. I'm not sure if that's the.
Well, it's they.
I'm not sure if you're
It's not.
talking.
It's not a wide arcing
Yeah.
community of VRChat. It's like a
Okay.
small
Okay.
community.
Okay. So it's not the trans
It's a small
academy.
circle.
Like it's
Yes.
that wasn't okay.
No, it's not. It's not them.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Um.
I didn't
Yeah.
think so, but just to kind of make sure. But yeah. But yeah, go on. Like what happened with those interactions in terms of that happening?
So when I came to Minnesota, it was because like, I didn't want to be alone anymore. I wanted to like have a life and like find someone and build a life together, you know? I've been alone for like, I was in isolation for like 10 years because of agoraphobia. So when I moved here, like I started like hanging out with people, from VRChat and kind of like seeing who they are, and it's like, I don't know, things just started clicking here and there that I was just like, this isn't right, and then
Did they not like you anymore? Like what was were they? Did they?
oh
Did what was the falling
so
out?
everything, the falling out was actually over, so it was over NSFW. Like they were sharing things that I wasn't okay with, like I won't say what, but obviously like I have a moral code and I'm not okay with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I expressed that I wasn't okay with it, then it was like a whole problem with me, and it was my blaming my reaction, and and then they started like ganging up and saying that I was being paranoid about things, and like it was a whole thing. And then so they all kind of just like stopped talking to me, blocking me. It became nasty, and then they started like hoping that I wouldn't tell people about them. And so they were very worried I would go public with it, and I was just like, I don't want any part of anything. I just want to live my life. Been through enough. And so now I'm like, they already cut me off from my family. I lost my family. I lost everything that I had to move here for the new life, and so then like I didn't have them either. So it was rough for a little bit, but we came back from it.
Yeah. And was that around the time where I reached out to you initially about being on the podcast?
That was when you reached out to me, or initially. It was like the build up to it,
Okay.
kind of, where everything was in flux. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So things were rough. Yep.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to come on, during that period of time.
Yeah.
It's
If you knew the details, you would understand that like it's just because I already like work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, because it's my personality. That's all I want to do. I play games sometimes for breaks, but I really do love what I do. And so between like that and like everything I've scheduled, like time is really hard for me to give away. But then all of that on top of it was just, it wasn't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely reasonable. Like that's terrible. Like the worst thing is to be made to think that you're crazy by people gaslighting you into making you like, you know, making you think that you're losing your mind, and that what they're doing is it's not, you know, essentially like trying to manipulate you and take advantage of you, and that's terrible. I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I know you said you're good now, but you know, it's, you know, still my condolences.
It's a flag when they're doing it and they're trying to show you that other people are doing it to you. You know, like that's how they separated me from my family. Like, you know, like they're taking advantage of you. You're paying all their bills. You're paying for their chemotherapy. They're just using you, and so they were my support group from that. So that's how they got in my life.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think that's
a flag to watch for with people on VRChat.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think that's very, very good to know. I think like people knowing about that is, I think, very, very helpful. You know, because again, there are lots of ways where people can just take advantage of people on this platform. Were you born with agoraphobia, or was that something?
No. I was extroverted initially in the first stage of my life, but after like age of 5, my mother, my parents split, and she got with an abusive guy. So it was child abuse from like 5 to 9, and it was so. And then she gave me away at 9.
And stayed with the guy.
So yeah, she chose him over us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
I can't say too much about that because she threatened to sue me if I go live with any details, but I have like reports from it. Still dealing with that legally. So at like 9, I was given to my father, but you know, he was an addict, and so his house was like drug den, people like 15 to 30 people in and out every day. So school was rough for me. I've always tested like gifted or genius on like standard tests, but my grades weren't good. So I just couldn't do school because of that.
I get you. Yeah.
So agoraphobia was brought on from like my development phase in life, going through those decades, and so it culminated as agoraphobia.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing, you know, these details about yourself. I always like to really, I always like to kind of dig into, in a positive way, ideally, I guess, and learn more about them. Like, how were they shaped, like, into the person that they are today, kind of deal. I think that's important for a lot of people to understand, because like people are always wondering, how do you become successful? How do you grow as a creator? And they don't really know like what that takes, the mental fortitude that takes, and like the growing.
It's a lot of reinvesting in yourself. It's a lot of betting on yourself, and like just knowing that like you're gonna do better with your resources than like going out and buying something expensive. You know, like anything like I get like I said, I give away all of my money. I don't keep anything aside from bills and like just paying for like my family. Everything is given away or reinvested into Pursu as a business. And so I think like my upbringing led me to that point. So
yeah,
because I don't want other people to deal with life as it was like that.
Yeah, of course. and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing these podcasts, because I think there are people out there who do need to know that who've lived varied lives and have gone through various forms of struggle to ultimately get to where they are in life in general. So before we talk about like all the details of what made you and what shaped you into Pursu as a business, I would like to talk a little bit about VRChat and like the kind of roller coaster that it has been in general, and kind of getting your take on those things. So when did you discover VRChat? Like when did that first happen?
So I played World of Warcraft a lot. Like it was the only thing I could do with agoraphobia. But oddly enough, it was my social activity. And so, one of my friends from like Counter-Strike days messaged me like, hey, we haven't talked in a long time. By the way, I'm a girl now. And, if you want to hang out again, and if you're okay with that, come hang out on VRChat, try it out with us. And, that was the community that I was talking about. That was small, niche, and that was my whole trans journey.
Gotcha.
Through them.
Okay.
So they got me into it, but I never spent time with them in VRChat. Like, they showed me the game and we hung out once a week. It was Friday nights. They did a community hangout, so every Friday I would hang out with their community. But I started realizing like the only reason I was playing World of Warcraft was to have a social life. But I didn't really like the people. They were angry, they all only cared about themselves, very narcissistic, because that's the nature of the game. You do what you can to be more powerful yourself. VRChat was like, it was a whole new world for me. I could be whatever I wanted, I could do whatever I wanted, I had the freedom. And so it started being like a problem to take off the headset, So like, I would start like breaking down, like just taking off the headset and having to go back to my normal life as it was at that time. But as I found like modeling and stuff in like onigiri and boonscap, they started teaching me modeling, and so I started like working on models more than I was playing the game. And so that kind of like, between that and like gym, it kind of like, it was so positive, I guess, for the success of like what I found.
Okay. And around what year did you get into VRChat? Just out of curiosity.
2020, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 2020.
So the
the
golden
5
year.
years.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right. Okay. And what was the gap between you getting into VRChat and starting to explore the possibility of doing modeling work?
I could only wear one person's model. It was Onigiri's models. It was TDA era, so like the faces were TDA and stolen work everywhere. Still is, by the way. We'll get into that. But I kept buying models, and I was like, I don't like this. Every time I'd load into a model, it was like I just threw $35 away. Why don't they give refunds? Like, creators, I still stand by this, creators need a refund policy. 100%. Every creator needs a refund policy. Everybody in VRChat that buys a model has regretted their purchases. They need a refund policy. But there's not a good way to handle that. That's the problem. I offer them just as anything. I don't care if someone takes advantage of me. So, but there was only one creator that I wasn't regretting my purchases from, and it was Onigiri. And so I started like posting pictures of me and the models in her Discord. She was like, hey, these are good. And I was like, and then she was I started like asking her like, "Hey, when's this model coming out? When's this model coming out?" And she's like, "Well, I gotta do showcases and stuff, and I just haven't had the time." And I was like, "Okay, if I do the showcases, will you release the model?" And so I started doing her pictures and showcases, and then that turned into me just watching her work, and then asking questions, and her and Boonscap taught me, and then I kind of just like took off naturally with my talents.
Okay. So what was the gap between you getting to VRChat and then you time wise? What was the gap between you just getting started?
It was less than a year. It was months. Like,
Okay.
I had full body within 1 month of playing VRChat, and then by month 4 of VRChat, I was creating models because it was instant. Like, there wasn't much of a gap at all, really. It was like, this is my life now, you know. So, once I started creating, I was living in my brother's basement, and my first model, I showed him, and he looked at me and he was like, "Why would anyone buy this?" And it like crushed me. And so I was like, "Fuck, I can't release this. I need to redo it." Onigiri and Boonscap told me just release it. If it doesn't sell, whatever. Only sold 1 copy. It was bad. The next model sold like worse, just nothing.
Well,
But I kept at it. I kept going. And then my like 3rd model. Yeah, it was, oh wait, no, it was like 5th model, 4th or 5th. Olivia. Overnight. It was like success overnight. It was like one night I made $600, and so I went to my brother and I was like, "Hey, look what I made." And he was like, "Oh, great, you can pay the bills of the house now." And so I was like, "Oh, shoot, okay." He was like, "That's more than I make," and because he just got out of college and food scientist, brilliant person. I'm very proud of him. Despite all of this, I'm very proud of him. And then the money kind of just ramped from there. It was like I was getting better and better and releasing more and quicker, and then it hit like 6 figures, and it was like, oh, I'm making more than people that were going to college for 6 years, you know? And then my family started being like, paying attention, started asking me for things. I started paying their bills, and it stopped when I moved to Minnesota, and then they disowned me and just blocked me. So I don't have a family now, but I'm building one, so we're getting there.
Nice. All right. Okay, so back to VRChat. So I would say, what is it about VRChat that struck you as being a platform, that could be a place where you could? I know you said you didn't spend much time socializing in VRChat, but I imagine you still like kind of have an opinion or thought about,
Yes,
the
absolutely.
platform.
The human soul is displayed in VRChat, I think, genuinely. I always thought it didn't exist, it was just science. Like, we are biology, we don't have a soul. We are the makeup of science and biology, electrons shooting through our brains, and once we're dead, we're dead. There's nothing unique about any of us. And then VRChat was like, wait, I'm a person, like, my soul's coming out, and the art displayed that. Like, there's a reason, like, religions are always very close to art, is because they're expressing their soul through art. And that's why the Vatican towards as much as they do. And so I think everybody that is in VRChat and edits a model is starting to display their soul.
So do you, you said there was like a connection between, this like the soul and art, or was it religion
Yes.
and art? The soul and art? Would you say?
No. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I can understand that.
I think religion is very like man-made and busted, and very like structured. The infrastructure of religion is to make money. Like that is all it exists for right now.
Okay. So in terms of VRChat and like the people here displaying that, I was more so wondering about the metaphor that you were making with regards to people existing in VRChat.
So, in like with the human soul, like I think that their creativity enables them to know who they are as a person. Like when they start to express themselves, they start to understand themselves, and what talents they have. So like everybody's an artist. It doesn't matter who you are, you have an artist soul. And I'm trying to teach that a little bit, like just how easy it is to 3D model. Like you don't have to kitbash, you don't have to throw money away buying models. You can make them yourself in hours, not months. It's very easy with the tools we have now. You just know how, you have to spend 30 minutes to learn how to do it. That's it. And so I'm trying to like push that more, and I just don't have the time to put out content. But I feel like that's your question, is how I feel like VRChat is tied to your soul, is because when you start to edit something, if even just adding a tattoo to a model, if you edit a color, it is like your personality coming alive. You didn't like something about something, so you changed it, and that's like the very basic building block of your soul, like developing, is being able to find out what you like and what looks good for you and in your eye. And yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Okay. So I don't think I've heard anyone say that everyone has an artistic soul. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I've always believed that everyone has a specific reason for existing, and everyone has a divine spark. And that spark will define who they become, whether they nurture it or whether they just kind of let it waste away. And that can be expressed in various ways, whether it be through art or through going out and doing work with, making sure that people have food and water, like doing people apply themselves in different ways.
Itself.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like how you express yourself is art. Like it doesn't matter if you're just like finding a method to, or like an efficient way to give water to the masses is like an art form, I think, because you're expressing how you feel in a creative way to make it more efficient, to get more water to more people.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, it's there's a level of creativity there, and I think I do think the divine spark that I think everyone has will determine how they spend their life and how they really apply themselves in the grand scheme of just interacting with people and I guess being a person, existing, as it were. So to what degree do you hope, or do you think that VRChat can help people to really explore? Like you said, you've explored various things in VRChat. Do you think that VRChat is a great platform for that, and why?
I do. I really think like VRChat is necessary for people that can't build these tools in real life. people that don't have friends or like extracurricular activities. You know, they don't go out to movies 3 times a week, or they don't go to dinner 3 times a week. They need a way to connect with people, because the only way like you can find out who you are is by connecting with people and like noticing like what it is about you that makes you unique from them, like how you're different than them. Because otherwise you're gonna think everybody's the same, everybody is the same blank slate, and your experiences like shape you into the person from that slate. So you need to be able to connect with people to find out who you are, I guess. And VRChat's great for that.
So now that we've pretty much discussed what was going on with the avatar marketplace and how that whole interaction went down, I believe you were saying before that that it was just kind of a drop the ball situation because they were doing something new and they weren't really familiar with how to really go about it. And I don't know how many people were actually like on the launch of the avatar marketplace, but was it just
the first pilot was incredibly small, and they focused on only creators that had models everywhere, like Cam, and everywhere you went, there would be multiple of them. So they wanted like people to recognize the models that they saw out in the world are now available on like the marketplace. So the first pilot was very, very small, and they made sure that it was like from people that were already like recognized and at the very top, like through the history of VRChat.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense from a marketing point of view for sure. I can understand that.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. Yes.
Yeah, it's still very unprofessional to bring someone in and then take them out. But in any case, I'm glad it's all sorted regardless. Things happen. It's all right. But yeah, like it's really good to know that just a little bit more about your experience with that. Do you what is your feelings? Well, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts specifically?
Okay.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about the creator economy in general?
I think I almost feel like it's a cash grab, because it's not like done in a way that is very beneficial for anyone, really, It's just done as a way to have something to quickly grab money before people, have other methods to get what they're getting in an easier and cheaper way. With the Steam split, I know it's not their fault. So I know creators get like less than 50% of the sales that they make. And everyone's really like up in arms about that. Me, not so much, but you know how I view money, I just don't care. So it's not like that, but it's not efficient for businesses to want to put things in VRChat. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna invest in something that they're only getting less than 50% of. And so like you can remedy that like with how Roblox does it, with like selling things to the website, or like routing things around Steam, so they don't lose 30% to Steam. And even people praise them for only taking 20%, but in the reality of the situation is we're giving away way less than 20% on our own platforms. Like Jinxie, you set what you want, it could be 0%. And Gumroad started, when I started, it was like if you made $100,000, you only paid 2% in fees. Now it shot up to 10%, but 10% is still better than 20% that VRChat's taking.
So if people are up in arms, okay, we have a couple of examples. You said Gumroad is now up to 10%. For Jinxie, you can decide For Steam, it's for
30.
for Steam it's 30. For VRChat, it's 20. So with that being the standard, like even there are some other platforms that don't take that take less than 50% also. So it just seems kind of confusing to me why anyone would be upset about not getting 50% from the creator economy, and also given that VRChat is taking, I'm getting my numbers confused. You said, was it 30, 20?
No, VRChat takes 20%.
20%.
Steam takes 30.
Okay.
So, and then creators are supposed to get 50%, but after fees, they don't.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they're still handling the fees of everything.
Right. Okay. So I don't know. It seems kind of strange.
It's not efficient or gracious to any party. It's just bad all around.
So why does it seem like a cash grab?
Because I think they did it very hastily, and that is because I think there are things in motion for the longevity of VRChat that the standard user base, like, it would make sense from, if I were to run their company, to be planning things years in advance of, like, progression models and things. And if your platform, I'm sorry, that
it happens.
like driving outside.
Yeah.
If your platform existed for 5 years or so prior to you monetizing it, or like putting the market in game, it was like that wasn't the business model of your platform. Like that was tacked on in like a hasty way to get money before something else comes big, you know? Because they could have cashed in on creators during the boom of COVID, where creators were making way more money than they are right now. Like, creators right now are not surviving. Most, if not all of the ones I've talked to, have taken like 80% income cuts over the last year. The market's very saturated, and people are done buying models they regret because there's so many other creators they can go to. So the only way to remedy that is to put out quality work to have repeat customers. And so like the creators I talk to, like, they're freaking out, and there's like, I made like 20% of what I made prior to months. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, do I have to go get a job? And now we see people leaving to go get jobs, and I think VRChat picked up on that, and they were just like, oh shoot, we need to do this now if we want any money from it whatsoever. That's why I think it's a cash grab.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I have the insight of the income creators are earning, and if I have that insight, then VRChat does as well.
Okay. So, do you have any thoughts as to, like, a better way?
Yes, I have a solution that's perfect for everyone, and that would be through, like, how like Ready Player Me is like auto uploads and things. Like, there's programs to like create your avatar and upload it without having to open Unity whatsoever. You don't have to touch Unity. You don't have to import a package to edit it. You can do it all through their program. There will be programs like this in the future. I can't say anything more about that. And I think the solutions to the problems that I laid out are already in works.
Okay.
And I think those solutions will also cut the amount of creators by like, I don't know, 70% or more, because it will focus on all scratch work. You're not going to be kitbashing anymore when you can do everything. You can customize how you want it. There's not going to be a need for kitbashing anymore. So I think people that have built their incomes around kitbashing will now have to either make nothing or learn to express their soul and who they are as a person through their creativity. They won't be able to put it together anymore based on other people's visions.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Do you... Okay. You mentioned about, well, you didn't have mentioned this, but I've, in my research before doing this podcast, you mentioned feeling unwelcome in VRChat. Can you go into detail, more detail about that?
Yeah. So, like I said, I was brought into VRChat at the top. Like when I started creating, I was in the circles with all the big creators. When I stopped being useful to them, what they could get out of me, like there were creators that wanted to use my face edits. They wanted to use things that I did, and like when I wasn't useful to them, they were aggressive. They would attack me, and in the servers they would poke at me and stuff. Actually, I have a very funny story about Cam, like the throw joints that he does. That he gives out throw joints. He approached me and asked me to remove the word throw joint from all of my avatars that don't use his throw joint, because that's his word.
Huh.
That made me feel unwelcome. And so what that does is it starts becoming like a popularity thing, where it's like you can't speak out against the creator that is doing something or attacking people because your income is tied to it. If you speak out against them, then you can make less money, So no one spoke up when all of this was happening. And so what happened was I just left everything and just was like, okay, if I continue to make it, it's because my models sell themselves. The work sells itself. I'm not doing the popularity game anymore, and so I left being social with creators completely.
So it was largely feeling unwelcome amongst fellow creators?
Yeah, and that post specifically was something that was built up through my 4 years working in VRChat, and it was made when I found out that I wasn't getting pilot to Avatar Marketplace, because it was like a betrayal that I put everything I had into your platform, and you're choosing people that aren't in your platform anymore over the people that are doing everything to help people in your platform, helping them learn. And like, as my Discord knows, anybody that comes for help gets help. There's nobody that doesn't get help in my Discord. You have a question, small things, stupid things, nobody makes you feel like you're dumb for not knowing something. Everything is fixed, and I handle that personally myself. I help anyone I can. And so when I started seeing the people that were putting people down and like tearing people down, getting favoritism over like people that were helping people, I felt unwelcome. Because like, while I have a big following, it's not on the levels of some of these creators. I'm still fairly small, really, in comparison to maybe like the top 5 or so.
Okay.
But that's because I don't play the social game. That's my fault.
Okay. I see. Yeah, it is, everyone who is creating anything has to some degree, be social and interact with others, and, on some level, of course. Like I was saying before, it's very similar over on the streamer side of things as well. It's very similar.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I suppose with regards to the creator economy and the avatar marketplace, and just with like seemingly VRChat not really paying much attention or focusing more so on making income rather than supporting the developers. I'm curious as to if you had any thoughts with regards to the matter regarding Sign Trigger and Lakuza, stopping world
Yes,
design
I
and
do. And
things of that nature.
that
That whole thing.
what happened to them, how they were treated and how I was treated, is a testament to what the devs think about the people that hold their platform up. Like, without us, they don't have this. It wouldn't have developed into what it is without us. We're the only ones, like, we're the face of their games or their worlds. Like, we give it life. Without us, we're just Chill Out VR or like Helios or any social platform that has less than 100 concurrent players. Like, Sign Trigger enabled people. Scratch artists enable people. They give people tools to be proud of themselves and to build something. And without those tools, you don't have anything. So you need to foster those people. You need to pour resources into whatever you have. You need to grow them, because they are what make you successful. And the more you pour into them, the more successful you are. So I don't mentally like see the logic of why you would cut off support to things like Sign Trigger. Why you wouldn't work with them to create an alternative. Why you wouldn't create an alternative yourself, like they did with VRC Red's face thing. Like, when mods were easy and Tochi came in and they cut mods, they just started yoinking mods from people and just putting them in VRChat. Like, why don't you invest in the people that made you successful? That's always been like, as someone that runs a business, like, what are you doing? This is why you're not successful.
Okay. So you
just give VRChat to me. Honestly, I'll be CEO. this place will be successful.
Oh, that's very, very confident. All right. Yeah.
Well, it would be a very successful platform.
So you believe in the idea of developers
Yes,
being first and coming first.
Absolutely. It worked for Epic Games, didn't it? Look at Fortnite.
Yeah. And I mean, people would argue that VRChat is trying to become Roblox or Fortnite. So, do you think?
Why?
Well, because of like their angle that they're taking with regards to the creator marketplace or creator economy, rather. They're trying to kind of build up a platform in which they can essentially, money can go to creators. So like, it's, obviously we know money would go to creators and also to VRChat and at the same right.
Yeah, if you're copying their systems that make them successful, you need to copy the root of the success, which is the developers. You need to put them first. You need to make sure they are given what they need to make their lives easier, so they don't have to fight you. Stop ignoring their messages. Like, it sounds crappy, but you need to respond to their messages. You can't just like ghost them. These are people that are very valuable to you. You can't just ignore them. You can't neglect them. You have to make sure they feel welcome and that you appreciate everything that they've given you.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And that's why Fortnite is successful. Copy that. If you're gonna copy things, copy that.
Okay. All right. All right. We can move on to talking about your craft. And I actually want to kind of break up this discussion about what you do, what you have done, and kind of a segment of like the past and the current state
Yeah.
of things. So, as I mentioned before, at the start of the podcast, I used to buy your avatars. I've bought a couple of
Yeah.
them. I always really liked the work that you did, and
Thank you.
yeah, and as I've grown and become more familiar with like weight painting and things of that nature, I've discovered more creators, and I found avatars like this one that I really kind of vibe with. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it feels very you,
Oh,
honestly.
oh, thank you. Yeah.
And you personalize it to a level that expresses yourself, so that's great.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Like that's a lot of like what I think of whenever I wear an avatar. It's meant to like I use the same term as you.
Reflect
your
your
soul.
soul.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So that's really my goal at all costs, whatever avatars I purchase. But with regards to your past stuff and like how like you used to go about designing your stuff back then,
Yes,
like
I was a kitbasher.
okay. So, oh, you were kit bashing back then.
Yes, I started because of the way I was taught was just to buy things and slap it on a body.
Okay.
Just buy it, slap it on a body, sell it. And that's as I grew artistically, that wasn't good enough. You can't just. Character designers exist in the video game studios for a reason. That's why they're the head of their companies. Like, that's the most sought after role of any like job in gaming industry is character concept artist. If you kitbash, you're not a character concept artist. You're not able to fully express a concept, I guess. And it's why every character concept artist starts in like topology or rigging or grunt work. They're not where they are because they're gifted at it. It's because they went through like the trenches to build themselves artistically to understand every nook and cranny of their craft and how it culminates and the rivers come together to form a complete persona as an avatar. And that's why some creators are successful and do it full time, like myself, and then there's people that release 2 models a week and they can't live on that. They'd make maybe 3 or 4 sales.
What do you think?
And it's because
go ahead. Oh, I was going to ask you what do you think the reason is for that?
Yeah, it is because they don't understand character concept art and like thematic things. It's why people go to school for what we do. It's why people have to have degrees to work in the game industry. You have to study and understand things like color palettes, and it's why 2D artists, when you buy reference art, they give you color palettes so that anyone that works on your model after they make it for you understands the necessities of the contrast between their colors and what makes the model thematic. Everything on a model has to be designed to complement another part of the model. You can't put something like, I like this necklace, I'm gonna throw it on there. I like this shirt, I'm gonna throw it on there. If they don't work together, then you're not gonna make sales. You're not gonna make money. It's not gonna. And people are just gonna be like, oh, I see a million of this. It's not unique. It's not like some people have it and some people don't. It's you have to explore what makes a character, what makes an avatar a persona. Like, that's why there's no male models that look like this. And
Okay. So, let's actually talk about male models and in the context of back in the day. Back in the day, there were not many male models, and many people in VRChat oftentimes have worn female avatars to compensate for that being the case, since the options were largely e-boy or like heavily anime.
Yes, that is incredibly dangerous. There needs to be more male artists.
In the context of like the past, though, like how
Yes.
things were in the
Yeah,
past.
in the history of it, I understand what you're getting at. Yeah, it's there's no incentive to make male models. You don't make money. Like, everybody wants a female model. Like, they want to be hot. They want attention. They, you know. So I think what needs to change is people being like, wow, wait, that's cool. I never saw a male model like that. Like, that's unique. That's cool. Because people love it. Anime male men, like, all the protagonists from, like, action anime and stuff, they're very unique. They have something about the protagonist that separates them from every other cast in the anime. It's a character concept. And in VRChat, the fault lies with no concept art going into male models. Because they're kitbashers. You don't have anything to work with. All you have is a buff base. All you have is, like, e-boy. What you're given and what tools you have to enable you aren't what the market wants. So that's why we're at where we're at.
So basically, the reason why there are not many male models is because the majority of creators back in the day were largely kitbashers.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's I feel like that's news to a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't really understand what goes into avatar creation. So
Yeah.
I think, like, for them to understand what that is very, very important. And for people who may not know what kitbashing means, and just for context, I think they should have been able to gather context clues. But for the sake of, the conversation, what is kitbashing for people who don't know?
It's when you go to a marketplace and you pick out, a body, you pick out a face, you pick out an outfit, and you put those together in Blender, and then you ship it over to Unity and then into the game. That is what the game industry refers to as, like, Frankensteining. So you're taking everything and just meshing it together. You don't make anything yourself. Nothing is created from you. It's all parts that you bought and put together, and you have a commercial license to sell the product that comes from that.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Hopefully that clears things up for people who who didn't quite understand the terminology. So, with regards to kind of getting started, I know you mentioned that it was around your 5th avatar that you started to make a living off of making avatars, or at least selling them in that regard. So the first avatar that I bought from you, or the first avatar that I ever bought, I believe was Melody, which I used largely for, at the time I was using her mainly for dancing. I think I also got banned
built for that.
Yeah.
Her entire persona was music. Everything on her moved. It is like she had decals on her that pumped to different channels of audio link. Everything on her was designed to express the persona of Melody. She is someone who is so in tune with music that everything from head to toe moved with music. And even if there was no music, it was all thematically about music. And so if you bought her for the purpose of dancing, obviously that's going to catch your eye. So that's why Melody was your first model.
Well, I will say that it wasn't quite because of dancing being my focus. Like, I obviously do other things other than dancing, but I liked the look and feel of her, and the fact that she was meant for dancing and I was going to, like, clubs and raves, that just kind of, like, fit in with what I was looking for from, like, a creative perspective. But yeah, like,
I have a checklist about that. Yeah. When I make a model, it has a purpose, but it has to fill a checklist. Like, my models, like, when you switch from one instance to another, you shouldn't have to switch models.
Hmm.
Your model should be able to be your persona no matter where you are and whatever purpose it is. Like, I don't sell, I don't sell sex. I sell, comfortable clothes that, can be cheesy based on the persona of the model. And you need to be comfortable no matter where you are in one of my models. If you're going to like a lobby with kids, and you're not comfortable in one of my models, I failed as a creator. Because you're buying it from me as a persona. Like, you're expressing yourself through my art. And so my art needs to be able to enable you to be yourself no matter where you are.
And can you tell us a little bit about your philosophy back then as to and how it's perhaps different from your
Yes.
current philosophy? What were you thinking about back
Yeah.
then?
Back then I was learning Scratch, but when I was making money, it was like, I cannot charge people for a worse quality product, and I wasn't good at Scratch. So while I would make stuff, I would replace it with stuff I bought. So I would make everything and then replace it with stuff I bought. And because I wasn't going to charge people money, and I knew money was valuable to them, so I wasn't going to charge them for something that was worse than what it could be. So that's why I was a kitbasher. And then as I developed, kitbashing was no longer cutting it. What I was buying was way worse than what I could make. So that's why I got out of it.
Okay. And
Every creator needs to be like that. If you're starting, you understand who your audience is. You understand you need to put out a quality level that is worth paying for.
yeah. And is that why it did seem as though, like, maybe it was because I was just a little bit out of touch, because I've been kind of all over the place with regards to like avatar creators and just kind of looking at what's out there, but it seemed like there was a little bit of a slowdown with regards to like your creation of avatars, from like,
Yes.
from back then up till now. It seemed like you were doing a lot more back then.
Yeah, it was because I can kitbash a whole model. Every model that I found success in and made thousands of dollars, I can make today in it one day. And I prove that through my Discord subscribers. Every month I release a kitbash model. I make those models in one day. So I release what I used to make, but it only takes me one day now.
Okay.
And so these creators are coming out and being like, this took me 8 months to make. And I'm sitting here like, no, it didn't. You just didn't work on it.
So the length of time that it takes to make something isn't indicative of the quality.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's your workflow, your efficiency, your understanding of your craft, and your desire to make your craft better. And if you don't have that desire, then it's not your passion.
Okay. With regards to pricing, has pricing changed for you back when you initially started to make avatars compared to now?
No. I started at 25 because that's what I was forced to. I wanted to release them free. I was like, you should not be paying for this. But I was in the big creator communities, and they were like, no, you're going to harm the market if you're releasing your stuff that is better than other people's for less money. You're going to hurt the market. And so I was convinced and pushed into charging more money for my stuff than it was worth. And so now I moved up to like $35, and that is like cap for me. I have released things at like 40 for like full scratch and everything, but I feel I want it in more hands, more people. I'm sorry, buddy. I'll get you on in a minute. I would rather my models be in more hands than more money in my pocket. And so, in terms of pricing, my next model will be way higher priced, but only because it's thematic with her. And there's a reason why she will be priced at that number, because that number defines her. So, that will be the only model that I ever charge that price for. But that's my magnum opus. That is everything that I have learned and built professionally for 5 years will culminate in that model. And that's what I'm working on now. But after her, it'll go back to 35.
Okay. So did you say the price that you're going to charge her as? I think I may have missed that.
No.
You didn't? Okay,
because I can't say that. I can't say that because of her. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got you. Yeah, I was worried that I'd missed something somehow, but yeah, you just didn't mention it.
It will be less than $80 though, guaranteed.
Okay. So, are you at all concerned about, I'm not sure if people know your philosophy on money, but are you worried about like charging a higher or a relatively high price with regards to how people may view your thinking about money?
Not at all, because I exist to make people happy, and I have been so fortunate to be on VGen, so I do commissions, and so I can personally work with people at a lower price. Like my commissions, I charge less for my work than any professional artist does. I sell my scratch outfits for like 70 to 90. Your whole design, full exclusivity for like $90, and that's just because of the hours that go into it. Where I'm sidetracking my business for your vision. And I work with the people that commission to make sure that they don't pay unless they're 100% happy, and I don't stop working on it until they're 100% happy. Even after I deliver it, I come back to it and I offer full support after. And so I feel my prices won't affect me from like a social viewpoint, because anybody that's worked with me knows like the care I put in towards my customers.
All right. Can you talk a little bit about what used to inspire you back in the day in terms of your avatar design? So what was the thought process in terms of going from avatar to avatar back then?
That's what I wanted to wear. I didn't make models that I wouldn't wear. I didn't wear anyone else's models. I only wore my models, and I wouldn't be caught dead releasing something that I wouldn't wear.
So the avatar creation was largely things that you wanted to see?
It was for me. Yeah, it was just for me. I made models for myself, and then I just sold them to other people.
Okay. And in terms of like the themes, because like you said, Melody was themed around music.
The inspiration themes, they come from everywhere. Anything I do in life. I walk every day, doesn't matter where. I just go places. I look at things. I look at people. I explore buildings. My inspiration comes from life itself, or any movies or. Hold on, buddy. I love you. Shush. He wants out.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So my life outside of VRChat exists to give me inspiration for VRChat.
Gotcha.
I go to churches to see sculptures for my work, specifically like Catholic churches. Michelangelo is my idol. Yeah. I go to malls, I look at clothing. I'm in female stores more than male stores. So I can look at things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any movie I watch is all with a purpose to what do I like? What do I want to make?
All right. So I thought your inspiration was Bob Ross, or your idol.
Yes, because I can't watch how Michelangelo did anything. I can only see his quotes and his work. Bob Ross, I have videos I can watch. I can hear him talk about his philosophy, how he conducts himself in life, how he views things on a moral and ethical level. Like, you can see the person he is through his words as he creates.
Okay.
So that's why he is my role model.
Okay. I do want to ask about like how you like. I know we both know there wasn't many male avatars, or hasn't been many male avatars, but I really want to ask like what was your like the few male avatars that you did make. Like what was your thinking behind them, given the nature of what you were doing back then?
Personal struggle with gender for me. Every male model I made was for me, including this one. Every male model I released has people in it to this day that won't wear anything else but that male model. Their entire VRChat life is seen through the eyes of that, and everybody views them as that. And I know I did a good job with it because they can't replace that model. They can't go and buy a new male model. It's not them.
How do you perceive the quality of your work from back then, looking at it now?
It was terrible, but it's still better than anything made today.
Damn! Shots fired. Holy.
No. Not anything. I was exaggerating. Not anything. There are creators. There's creators better than me. From a technical level, there are creators better than me. Michu is one. He is a sculpting artist. He uses ZBrush. His work is better than mine. He's the only one that I said that I think has better work than me. The only person that I think, him and I are the only two artists that I think VRChat, if it shut down tomorrow, would be the only two people that can slot into a game studio. I don't think there's a single other artist in VRChat that can immediately be hired to a game studio work, and I know that I don't have a full picture on that because I don't expose myself to creators too much. I just see things on marketplaces. And so I can't say that with confidence, but I can say that as my view. I know that sounds weird.
No, it doesn't sound weird. No.
So basically what I'm saying is that I can be wrong, and I'm open to being wrong, and I don't want to offend anyone, but that's how I feel. And if you show me otherwise, I would love to see your work. But I haven't seen anything like Michu or I's work. Even the most popular bases in VRChat, the ones everybody is your body, it's not industry standard. You can't put those assets in a video game.
Okay. So it's largely on the merit of being able to take your work and put it into a game if VRChat were to implode. And that's how you make your judgment, your value judgment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You are a professional if you can lose your job and get that job again.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, cool. I do have to ask you about the models that I've purchased from you. So I'm gonna ask you about some older ones that I purchased from you. So because again, really wanted to have you on so we could talk about that sort of thing. Just because we're talking about your past work, and we'll get into the modern stuff in just a little bit. So, first avatar I want to ask you about, I already asked you about Melody, but I believe the next one that I purchased from you was Nova. Um, what
Hmm.
what was
That
what was that?
was what I thought would be my magnum opus. That was something I pushed myself on. Everything on that was like, it was a step up in quality. It was a bad model, first off. Um, but it was a step up in quality. Like, sure, she was successful, but she wasn't as successful as, she wasn't what the market wanted. She was niche. She was unique. She had a cool bow system, knives, and all these things. Which, by the way, I scrapped knife systems because I was warned by creators not to make knife systems, or they would DMCA me because they didn't want anyone like having systems like theirs. So my creativity was stifled all through my career because I was being bullied into not making things so that I wouldn't have that conflict. Um, so with Nova, it was like, I don't care anymore. I'm done with being social anyways, and that's when I left the social community. That was the first model of leaving those communities, where I didn't care anymore. It was like, I was gonna push myself. And she has expressive wrinkles, and I've taught this on Twitter, where when you bend, wrinkles appear in her clothing.
Yeah, yeah.
No other models have that, and I even put videos out how to do it, and I never gatekept anything. I showed everyone to do it. It's my most liked post on Twitter, is because they're like, "Oh my god, you can do this. It's optimized. It's easy to do," and I still don't see people doing it. I have no idea why. Like her bodysuit, when you bend, the wrinkles appear in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So why don't people do that? It's amazing. Everybody loves it.
Well, it is out there, and I've definitely spent a lot of time. I've spent a lot of time in all of your avatars. Oh, not all of your avatars, but the avatars that I've purchased. Let's say
Yeah,
I've spent a lot of time in. The next one I want to talk about is, or ask you about rather, is oh, what is her name? Let me, I'll check really quick. Harmony.
Harmony. That was what I thought was my best work. It was like, she was so thematic. Everybody loved her. She was my first bunny girl. She existed to graffiti. Like she was like this, little punk bunny girl, and she had a spray can and everything. I was warned not to make a spray can, by the way.
Figures.
Anyways, and like, so I thought that was like the first model that like I would be proud of my work for. Was like her. I thought that was my best. And now I realize it wasn't, but I took a lot of pride in her. I was very happy when I released her.
Okay.
Everybody that knows me, or like anyone that's close to me, know how rough a release is on an avatar. My mental is just not there. Like it's like, oh my god, are people gonna regret buying this? Like, I'm worried for my customers when I release a model. It's like, what can go wrong? Like, what aren't they gonna like? Are they gonna give me another chance? I'm in my head so bad on a model release that like anyone that dates me like can't, they just can't be around me when I'm like the night before an avatar release. My partner now is very loving and supportive, but wasn't always like that.
Yeah. Okay. And I believe the last avatar that I want to bring up is Amaris.
uh, she only existed for the male model that came with her because I wanted it.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay.
But she was cool. I liked her a lot. She was my moon, you know? Like her, she was thematic for the phases of the moon. All of her tattoos, and when you get close to the male model, a moon shows up on her hand. And originally I had her designed to, I couldn't make it work, so I scrapped it, but we wanted to be able to have a cycling moon system on her that would show through tattoos and like decals on her clothing that would cycle and have a safe system between instances, and I just couldn't get it working, so threw it away.
Gotcha.
She was supposed to be more than she is.
Okay, okay. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, those were the ones that I've spent the most time in. I believe those are the ones that I purchased. Well, obviously those are the ones I purchased and spent a fair bit of time in. I really enjoyed all of them in my own way. Like, I don't want to get too deeply into like my thoughts about them. I can talk to you about that in the post part of the podcast. But yeah, I really appreciated each and every one of them for the time that I spent in them. I actually have a really funny clip. Like it's really good clip of me and Amaris and just kind of like sitting down and then completely disconnecting from my stream. Comfy time, glad. Oh. It's really funny. Very cool. But I enjoyed all of them in their own ways. I believe Nova was the only one I didn't wear on stream. I kept her kind of like on like kind of secret.
She didn't belong in VRChat. She was made so I could push myself to take a step up in quality, scratch-wise. Like, she enabled me to move to 100% scratch. That was her purpose.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, let's move on to your work currently and what you're doing in current day. So you are currently working on what is being touted as your magnum opus, which I believe is inspired from, if I am recognizing the model correctly, one of Iron Mouse's iterations. No, something else. Okay.
So I actually that concept art isn't even like her anymore. Like I've put so much work past that it doesn't exist anymore. All of my character concept arts, I use reference sheets. I build the references myself. So I have like pure ref and images from everywhere. It's like just a collage of everything that inspires me. Her, I was like, I want to do, like a duality of man, where it's like a fallen angel between holy and unholy, and what everyone struggles with their moral compass, and that was like how it was going to be my magnum opus, and you'll understand when she comes out. But I bought an art pack from her, or for her inspiration, because I wanted to move into, I want to bring live 2D into VRChat. How VTubers have their live 2D models.
Yes.
I want to bring that style into VRChat. That's something we don't have. So her purpose is going to be to look like a VTubing model, and she's 100% scratch, and she will be like what you would see on a VTube stream, but in 3D in VRChat. But look like a live 2D model, especially with the shading. She'll appear 2.5D. And the concept art, what you said was like Iron Mouse, was because the pink, black, and white theme. I bought a reference art pack because I wanted the live 2D proportions. And I found out, like, Bambi reached out to me and was like, that's AI. I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea. AI is getting so crazy now, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I threw that away. I threw that concept away. I redid her concept, and the last few days is me taking my vision of her and twisting it into now the concept art is coming from me. It's not being references put together, it's all from me. So even though I'm not a 2D artist, my reference images are still coming from me.
Okay.
So I will draw everything, and all references will be hand delivered to my blender from me and my brain.
So it sounds like what you consider a quote-unquote magnum opus is largely the point at which you are pushing towards a new level of specialty in terms of your design process. It sounds like.
Yes, it will be the only thing that is fully a reflection of me, whereas like, everything I learned through these 5 years will be like pushed or replaced, kind of, like all of my skills will either culminate or I will replace those skills.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lexi, shush. They're playing.
Ah.
I have 3 big dogs, so.
Oh wow. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So what really what goes into I guess what you currently do? Obviously now you make everything from scratch. So you've become very, very skilled in that regard compared to your past work. And so at this point, what is your main goal with regards to moving past, kit bashing and even maybe you're still using reference materials to kind of get inspiration for new stuff. But
I'll be leaving VRChat. I'm teaching myself Unreal Engine. I'm going to solo dev AAA games.
Okay. So that's the direction.
Yep. Okay. That's my future. I'll be releasing Steam games. I think. I don't know. There's always room for me to decide not to, but that's my vision. I don't know. I love what I do here, but my purpose isn't here anymore. So I'll do this as long as I can until my games replace this.
All right. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I think it's important to always be, evolving your work. Sometimes people grow out of, the work that they were doing for a long time. I think obviously there's some sentimental value there, but if you want to ultimately build a company, build a brand, you have to be willing to kind of, leave things behind and then, accept new things that you've learned in order to ultimately get to where you want to get to. It sounds like, yeah.
When you accomplish everything you want to do, you don't just sit there and just give up, like you have to find something else to do. It's like why people go through midlife crisis. They've accomplished everything they want to accomplish. They're lost. They have no purpose. So the problem with me being a limit tester is there's no end. I'm never going to be satisfied.
I mean, that's good. That means you have unbridled inspiration and motivation to continue to evolve and push your skills to as far as they can go for as long as you're around for. And I think that's a mindset that I believe is in short supply these days, and it's definitely a necessity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's necessary to have that kind of mindset to succeed, again, because attention is by far the most valuable currency. So you have to be able to push and continue to make yourself relevant and do whatever it takes to get there. So can you tell us about your rebranding, and can you give the nuance of what that is for people who may not be in the know about that?
Yes, so because I don't have a family anymore, my purpose is to build a family. So we're having our first kid, and so I want to rebrand in something where my kid will look to me and be proud of me, and I will be a role model to them. So I think a lot of the NSFW stuff is going out the window. But I want to still be able to let people express themselves as they do in VRChat, and feel what they want to feel. So it's something I have to balance, and I want the lessons that I teach my kid to make them a good person. And so if I have to take a hit professionally, then I will. So that means more to me.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about what you're thinking of doing? Obviously, you said you have room to not do game dev if you didn't want to, but that's essentially a part of what you're aiming to do. So, can you talk a little bit about like how you intend to approach that, being solely a character creator, avatar designer?
Yeah. I think I can do it through experiences. I can push creative out of avenues. I can get into music. I can start releasing short films. I can get into animation. I can make my characters have stories and come with movies or short games or comics, or like when you're buying a model, you won't just get a model anymore. You'll get a companion, you'll get a story, you'll get content beyond just an avatar you wear, and I think that's where I'll fill the gaps.
Okay. What do you think about the nature of technology? We're in a very, very like interesting age, let's say. Do you think that perhaps your skills could be used in perhaps in the future, like building a real life models, let's say, in terms of like
I would love that
sort of thing? Maybe that's like the next step forward for you, perhaps. Maybe.
I know with AI advancements, first off, AI in 3D has already replaced everyone in VRChat. 3D AI generated models are better than everything in VRChat already. Things sold on the marketplace for VRChat is AI created now. People don't know that. But there are creators on marketplaces now that are selling 3D models created with AI. I know just with my proficiency that it is. And I don't necessarily like view that as like a big bad thing, because I was offered like $60 to $100 an hour to train AI with my skills, and I turned that down. I was offered positions at game studios. I turned those down. I don't think AI will replace us, but it gives an alternative at a quicker and lower price point. And I think a lot of things are changing so rapidly that this isn't sustainable.
How do you recognize? What is your method of recognizing when avatars? I don't think I've ever seen an avatar that was made, artificially, let's say, through AI. How do you recognize that?
Not avatars, assets.
Oh, just okay.
Assets, clothing, and things that are being sold and look so amazing, and like this creator is like, wow, this creator really took a step up, No, Blender leaves fingerprints. Nobody in VRChat knows this. Every mesh that you touch or are given has metadata with it, and so if anyone knows what they're doing, they can see where your mesh came from. That's why I know most of the bases and faces in VRChat aren't made by the successful top creators that... Yeah.
Okay.
There's metadata involved. There's footprints. Recently, recently I made a tweet about how to, like, one method to add one of those fingerprints yourself. If you wanted to start labeling made by you, to start tracking what you make and where it ends up. Very simple things. That was a very popular tweet. Everyone's shared it around. People in VRChat, they're not Blender experts. They didn't go to school for this. They're self-taught. It's amateurs teaching amateurs. They don't know what they're doing, and they don't know the software behind it. And with the way my brain works, I don't do anything that I don't explore. If I don't explore it, then I don't have a passion for it. And so I've explored Blender to the degree that I understand everything down to its core. And so I found mesh from everybody, like, whether it's intentional or not, with things that they didn't make. So I'm not sure how to, like, tell the public about that, because, like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be, like, hated for it, you know? I can't just call people out and be like, you stole this. Everybody would hate me if I did that. So I don't say anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't be making any any friends by doing that. Just enemy after enemy for sure. But I can definitely see why, like, that's a struggle. But what you can just supplying people with the tools to be able to see it for themselves. I think that's a value in and of itself. Being able to do
But
that. Yeah.
if I show too much, then, like, people start wiping the data, because the two methods I taught to add your name to something are already being used to wipe names off of things. I have like around three more that I'm not telling people about, and some of it comes from outside of Blender. When you export something, it attaches data to it from your PC, and I don't want to tell anybody about that, because that can be wiped. So I'm not sure how to go about that, or if it's my place too, if I just want to just stay in my own corner like I have been, just not talk to anyone and just keep doing my thing.
So, how, like, on a scale of, well, can you explain your well, I know you said that you were taught essentially Blender and I imagine by proxy Unity by
Yes.
by the people that you're spending time with.
Yeah, I was taught kitbashing.
Right.
Onigiri and Boonscap, who was a Scratch creator, he taught me, like, controls, how to spawn things, how to make things, how to set things up for VRChat. Valuable knowledge, and they're saints. I don't know why anyone would ever do as much for someone as they have for me. I love them with everything I have.
Yeah. So
those two people do no wrong in my eyes.
All right. Hell yeah. Okay. So can you?
They've given me everything.
Hell yeah. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. But can you share a little bit about what goes into, like how difficult would you say learning Blender is for the average person who doesn't know a thing about it, based on what you understand about it?
A terrible experience. Awful experience.
Okay.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. There's too much thrown in your face at once. I've given up so many times. I'm just like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it this way that I know how. I broke that habit, and that's when I started exploring things and understanding things and being like, I'll spend hours learning something that I never use again, and that's all time well spent.
So how would you recommend someone approach Blender to get, to achieve what you've achieved?
Enter with a purpose. You want to change one thing about your model. You don't like the face on it. What are you going to do? How dedicated are you to fail at changing the face? Are you going to look up YouTube videos? Does your learning path enable you to learn from videos? Do you need someone holding your hand? Are you passionate enough to reach out and get that help that you need to learn? And so, as a teacher, I want to let people approach me. I want to teach them to, like, you can look up a video, but if you don't learn that way, you're not gonna accomplish your purpose. If you want to learn Blender and you can't watch videos, come and ask me. I'll sit in a call with you. I'll show you how to achieve what you want to achieve. And once you achieved it, you'll realize how simple it is, and you'll explore it for yourself, and you'll grow as a person. You'll be able to express more yourself, and I've given people careers in VRChat teaching them. Even like recently, I had a student doesn't play VRChat, doesn't even have a Windows PC. I taught full 100% Scratch, and he has a store on Jinxie. He doesn't even play VRChat.
Wow.
He's never touched Blender. He's never done anything in art. It's a complete new skill that with no experience, and uses a MacBook Air, so he can't even run VRChat to test what he makes. He can just make Scratch and just sell it. Anyone can do it. Doesn't matter how smart or dumb you are. It's not hard.
It's hard, but it's not that hard if you have a purpose.
It's daunting. It's daunting. It's not hard.
Okay. Gotcha. I had a fantastic question for you. Okay, it slipped away. All right. So, how do you what do you think is the most difficult thing about being an avatar creator? Like, what is the most challenging aspect of being an avatar creator, would you say?
How you view yourself, really. Like, are you proud of your work? Will you wear your work? Will you, like, if you go up to a creator and be like, like, I bought your model, sometimes it comes with a, oh, I'm sorry. So, it's hard. But I guess another angle to the question would be, like, dealing with unhappy people. Like, if you have an unhappy customer, like, are you just gonna be like, no, screw you, blocked? Are you gonna help that person? Are you going to, like, they've never uploaded a model, are you gonna sit with them and teach them how to upload it? Are you gonna refund them? Are you going to just block them? And you didn't read the message, you didn't read the post. That's the hardest thing, is, like, making those choices to reflect who you are as a person when someone needs help.
I see. Okay. So let me ask you about Luma. That was your most recently released.
Yes, I released it through Kai.
Okay.
Because I only did modeling for it. I never touched Unity. I didn't even do weight painting for it. I made everything for it, and I let her complete the process. I believed in her. Kai's a very talented Unity person, like, specialist. She made the toys for, like, Nova, like the bow system and the knives, and she's an incredibly gifted person who doesn't see how gifted she is. And I want her to be able to see that for herself. So I want to give her concept life. So she did the concept for Luma. She wanted it. She told me everything. She put the reference sheet together, and all I did was make things for it. And so that's why I don't sell it. She does.
Gotcha. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, yeah. I did kind of grasp, I did kind of catch that bit that it wasn't produced by you. You just assisted with it. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Having the person who actually worked
Yeah.
on putting it all together to sell it. Okay. Um, I'll ask you about Jinxie. Jinxie versus
Mhm.
Gumroad. Why do you have
Uh,
such a why do you believe in Jinxie compared to
uh,
Gumroad?
because the people in charge, Sahil or whatever his name is, the one that runs Gumroad, he's very anti-work. He replaced everybody in his company with AI bots, so now you can't even get customer service unless through AI. Um, he every feedback that uh his clients who sell on his platform, all feedback was directly either ignored or said no to by him. And he even like now they filter everything on Gumroad by AI, and it's like if it detects that's NSFW, in which it detects things that aren't. Like I made a pair of pants, it detected NSFW, and I was suspended for a pair of pants, and I was like, it's just pants. It doesn't. There's nothing there that's not pants. uh, um, my buddy. Uh, so I think Jinxie actually exists to help creators. I think he genuinely cares about creator success, and that's why he lets you set your percentage. He doesn't set one. He's blocking my tracker. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go play, buddy. That's why I think Jinxie is way better than Gumroad. Gumroad just had the advantage of being the only platform available when sales of avatars took off. And the only one with a library system prior to Jinxie. So now everything they bought is in their library on Gumroad. Why would you go anywhere else? All your stuff's in your library. So Jinxie needs time, and he has had time, and people are shifting to it and replacing Gumroad with it because now their libraries are on Jinxie. And so I told him, doesn't matter what it is, if I can help you with your platform, tell me what it is, I'll do it. So I made his model, his VTubing model. I've done a lot of work for him. Just a good person. I think genuinely, I view him as a genuinely good human being.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say the same. I had a very good rapport with Jinxie, unexpectedly so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What he gets from creators is just so unwarranted. He gets so much hatred from ego, where he treats everybody the same, and creators cannot accept that. Although, they can't accept that they're treated the same way, so they want preferential treatment, and Gumroad gives that to them. So they're very anti-Jinxie because they can say this person has favoritism here and here and here, when in reality it's like, no, Gumroad has the favoritism. What Discover only pushes certain people. But anything to further their own emotions, I guess.
Okay. So you recently took place or participated in Tantra. That was somewhere.
Music festival, Ember.
Yes. Yeah. About a month and a half ago, and you released Ember. Can you tell us a little bit about that design? What went into it? What was the inspiration? Why does she exist?
They wanted a fantasy thematic, and so I put together something that was thematic for fantasy. And I've always wanted to do kitsune stuff, but I didn't like how it was done. I wanted to do something new that added a natural element. to the theme of the avatar, which was fire. The avatar didn't do well. It didn't really sell much. Puppy, shush. My fiance's trying to keep him quiet. She didn't do well. I think that is because where I was mentally, like going through all the changes in my life. I think I didn't put enough time into her. I didn't put enough work. I didn't market her at all. Nobody knew she existed whatsoever, aside from existing as a podium inside of that world.
Right.
So that was a fault of my own. I think she's a great model, but I think I just didn't give her the platform that she deserved. But the music festival was great. I was very happy that they partnered with creators. They took a step that VRChat didn't, where they worked with creators. You know, like they approached creators and did partnerships and worked with them and gave them tools and, you know, like, how can I help you get this model into our world? And so the devs of that were amazing people. They were always very polite to me and nurturing, and they complimented things I did. So I felt behind the scenes they had a private channel in their Discord. They still have it for creators, and I didn't share any work in progress for Ember in anywhere aside from that channel, because I was so happy with the developers of that world that was the only place that I felt wanted to see her. So those are the people that deserve to see her. So all of my work in progress for her entire creation was only to like maybe 4 or 5 people that were in that channel. Whereas like normally it'll be in work in progress on Twitter and in my Discord, and so nobody really knew about her.
Okay. So it sounds like you had a very good experience with Tantra and Jinxie and
Yes,
everyone that was
absolutely.
involved. And that's really cool. Like I was yeah.
Her not doing well didn't hurt me. It was I was happy either way.
Great. Okay. With regards to how you currently approach your creative process, I'm curious as to your move towards asset production, or predominantly asset production, as a means to kind of I believe I understand why you decided to go that route, but I am curious to know exactly what your thinking about that was. I mean, obviously you're still making avatars, but you know,
Yeah.
what is like the move to focus mostly on asset production predominantly?
I want to be replaced. I want someone to be me in VRChat, and I'm still looking for that person. I want to, what I give and like my philosophy on everything, and like everything that I've told you today about how I view everything, I want someone to come along to have those same views. I want someone to be me when I move on. And so if I teach, then I can ingrain them with those philosophies.
Okay. What exactly are you looking for in terms of a surrogate successor, we'll say?
I'm looking for someone like curious. I'm looking for someone that I don't know, they you can't just tell me things. It can't just be words. You can't just agree with everything I say. I have a level of emotional intelligence that I see where your free time goes. I see where like I will take an interest in you on a level that it's not invasive. I'm not trying to be like I'm a stalker or anything. No, but I do follow anyone that I teach. I follow every update, what they want to show as themselves in the public, where they go in VRChat. I have VRChat website up all the time, see what worlds they're in. I see what games they play on Steam. I see what streams they're in. I see. I want to know their soul and intentions with creation. I don't want it to be a thing sought after for money. I want it to be like the money is nice because I did something, you know, that was genuinely me, like my soul, like it was me expressing myself, and so I'm looking for someone that has my inquisitive mind and curiosity to explore things they don't know, that I don't know, that I can't teach them, and someone who's hungry, that like I was, whereas like eat, breathe, sleep, think, everything. No matter where you go to the shower, you go to the gym, you go to work, you're thinking about analyzing every movie you watch, every thing you see on the street. How would the topology of that car be? You know, like, would the deformation of those clothes work? How the wrinkles sit on other people's clothing, the colors that marketing ads have on their billboards, like how many polys can I get away with making that billboard? You know, like I view the world in such like a microscopic detail, where I break everything I see down into verses. So I view the world through Blender, I guess. I look at anything in life. I see the wiring of it, and that's why Michelangelo is my, like, why I view him so high is because he's famous for that quote. Like, I saw the angel in marble and stuff. I set free. You know, like you look at something and see a vision. You can, with everything that you pass on the street is just an object. It is very personal to you and has a purpose in your mind.
Yeah, everything.
And I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I can ever find someone like me, but I'm trying. Yeah, I'm having a kid. Maybe that'll be them.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, everything that has been created, it came from something. It came from someone's mind. So you know, it's good to kind of see the world in a very nuanced sense, and that's something I can very much relate to in that way. Like very much analyzing, observing people's actions, what they're doing, how they're spending their time. I do observe those things, and I definitely understand the meticulous nature of observing reality. And I think a lot of people tend to think that I overthink. I don't think that I overthink. I think that I am just looking at things on a level that most people don't. So
exactly.
But that's just me kind of relating a little bit to what you're saying.
Really admire that about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. It's something
keep
that
doing that.
Yeah.
Keep exploring it. Keep pushing it.
Yeah.
See where your brain goes with it.
I mean, I'm doing that right now. Like doing this podcast. It's a thought that I had, and I tried to do it, and I'm making it happen. I'm doing something
awesome.
that nobody else is doing. So
good.
So I like
you.
it. Thank you. So let me ask you about streaming and like what that's been like for you. I know you just recently got into it.
I'm not a good streamer. I don't think I have a future in it. I don't think I can even keep a schedule. What streams I even do are like sporadic and impulsive, and because it's me, and it's like I'm just gonna throw on the stream to sculpt. I don't even want to talk to chat. And that you can't do that as a streamer. You can't do that. But the reality of it is I work with a flow state. I don't work unless I am in a flow state, and I'm not able to break that for chat. So I have no future in streaming.
Okay. So did you largely start streaming so you could have a record of, what you've been doing and what you've been working on?
No, that's purpose of it now is so I can document
Okay.
certain things. And I don't even stream everything I work on. I only stream things I want to document. And it's only to 1 viewer, 2 viewers, or it goes up to, I had like 143 my first stream, like unique viewers. It's not like, it's not to anyone, it's to document that, but the purpose of it wasn't that. The purpose of starting streaming was to see if I could, like what I talked about, finding not an error, but like someone like me. I wanted to teach people to get experience for my child. The only purpose of me starting streaming was to learn to teach so that I could be a coach for anything my child gets interested in. If they want to play soccer, I will be a soccer coach. I'm very blessed doing what I do, working from home, setting my hours, because I can be there for a kid the way my parents weren't for me, So the stream only existed so that I could learn. Do people learn from me if I teach it this way? The only value that stream has is so, like, are people learning? Are people doing what I'm teaching? Or can I teach my kid this way? If I can't teach my kid this way, I need to do it a different way. So, not that you guys don't mean anything to me if I'm teaching you, but that was my purpose for stream.
So, large... Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I know people want YouTube videos of me, but I wanted to break the VODs down into YouTube videos, but I just, like, time is so rough for me right now because, I have a pregnant fiance and I'm either in and out of hospitals or appointments, and all my free time goes to walking. I walk every day and I hand out bottles of water to, like, homeless people, and so it's stupid. I know it's stupid. But, like, I genuinely try to, like, every minute of my day is purposeful. And so making YouTube videos is just not, I don't want to set that time aside. I guess you can call me lazy for that, I guess, but that's where I'm at with it. Maybe I need to hire an editor. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to talk about, like, the teaching aspect of what you're aiming to do, and I was under the impression that streaming was meant to facilitate the teaching aspect, but maybe...
Yeah, and it needs to be. It needs to be, and it is one of the goals, but I'm not going to be able to do that without YouTube, because no one can jump in when I'm streaming at 10 in the morning Central, When I'm in a state to teach is in the mornings. Because as my day progresses and my inspiration is filled from my day, my evenings are flow states. I can't teach in a flow state. So my mornings are like me waking up and teaching you what I know. So I need YouTube. I need to be a YouTuber, but
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't want to put the time in.
It's hard. Like let no one
Yeah.
tell you that it's easy. It's really, like, if you're
Can I
already...
just teach a student and they record it and edit the videos and make a YouTube channel? You can keep all the money if you want. I don't care. Can we do that?
Yeah, just like...
I need to find another me and then make them successful through that. And then once they are successful to stand on their own 2 feet without me, then I'll move on.
Okay.
Buddy.
Yeah. So, like, it's really tough. Like, when you're already kind of locked into something, making YouTube videos is very, very challenging to do for a lot of people,
Yeah.
unless it coincides with what you're already doing. But this is kind of like an ancillary thing that you're like, I want to teach people what I'm doing, but it doesn't directly affect what your bottom line. It's something that you just want to do for people. And, like, even if streaming doesn't really work out, you can still have, YouTube whenever you get around to it. You still have social media to share different tidbits with people, like, as you have been doing already. Like, there's ways around it. And again, like, you seem pretty pretty tuned into those sorts of possibilities. So, yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you. But yeah, streaming's hard. Making videos is hard. Very, very, very much a challenge overall to get things the way, produce quality things that isn't just kind of like, you're just not throwing shit up on the internet. You want to make it good, of course.
Yeah. That was hard for me. Like when I was proud of a student, like when I was spending intimate time and sidetracking my work to teach one person one-on-one, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, to be proud of them for what they were creating, and then them the next day like putting something up that they only existed because they wanted to put something up to make money or something. And it was like it was very painful for me to see their quality dip because of that. So I gotta figure that out.
Do you recommend people to get into avatar creation or asset creation, and why?
Asset creation. Make things, sell those things, make more things, sell those things, build an email following, give things out for free. Panda Bear gave me advice when I started. He was like, make something, sell it every day, every single day. Doesn't matter what it is, give it away for free. One thing a day. Build your email list on Gumroad so when people buy from you, they're in a email following. And then you can release something big you're proud of and mass email all those thousands of customers. That was very good advice. Panda is a very smart businessman.
Okay. So start with asset creation, and if you...
Yes, and once you have everything, you ideally, if I were to teach a student 100% scratch and they were selling assets, ideally the end game would, or no, not the end game, the first step up, I guess, the first leap would be from taking every asset you already sold and kitbashing your own 100% scratch from the assets you released. And
okay. Interesting. So it's kind of like you're building the pieces for your own original work by selling them individually, and then cobbling them together in your own way. Yeah, that's an interesting way of thinking about it for sure. Interesting approach. Yeah.
Yep, one step at a time. Until it's like kind of like the wax on wax off thing from Karate Kid is like you are building fundamentals, and all of a sudden you're a master, and you didn't even realize you're a master. Kind of deal.
That's fair. Okay. What are your... Well, I think I have an idea of what your, like, the answer to this question, but I would say, like, the way that you have kind of evolved yourself and changed over the years, like all the things that you've gone through, all the ways that you've changed as a person, the ways that you have viewed other people throughout your life, and the people who you hold dear to now, like, how does all of that kind of culminate into, being someone who is not only running a business, but also trying to, make good connections in a way that's going to be beneficial, and not just to make a business, but also to hopefully, just, be successful at what you're trying to do in the first place. Like, how does all of that kind of come together in a way that's
it comes
meaningful?
together in the moments of making each decision. Like, when you are weighing the consequences of your actions, are you doing that for your business? Are you doing that for you? Are you doing that, I can make more money if I did it this way. I can reach more people, more eyes if I did it this way. Like, am I willing to sacrifice, like, my personal growth for the attention that I need to build the business from in my name? Am I willing to start joining 100 Discord servers and posting my work in progress? Like, am I willing to weigh what I want to gatekeep from other people? Because the biggest fear creators have, if you talk to any creator in VRChat, the biggest fear is someone else copying them. Is the number one fear with every creator I've ever talked to, everywhere. Every single one. They all think someone's copying them. They all think they're being ripped off. If someone releases a model with the same asset, did you take that idea from me? Like, it is very, very upfront. Apollo, shush. Oh my gosh. And so I think, like, okay, so you don't go to other people's showcase channels and post your work in progress, because if you do that, they're going to take your ideas,
Right.
Get over that. Let people copy you. Let people take your ideas, because they came from you, and what are they going to do if they copied your work? What are they going to do when they run out of ideas? They're going to have find another idea to copy. They're going to have to, like, my philosophy on it is to make something to a degree that no one but you can do it. So yeah, no one can make my models. Not even, like I said, Michu is the only creator better than me, in my eyes. Not even he can make my models, because he wouldn't. He's very enlightened in his artistic journey, and he would never make something I make.
Okay. So, I believe I do have a couple more questions for you that I'd like to run by you, and to see what you're thinking about these things are. Very, very kind of wrap-up questions, I would say. So, where would you like to be 2 years from now? And I don't mean in a location sense. I mean in terms of, your...
VRChat?
Well, maybe not. It could be in VRChat. It could be like anywhere. Like in terms of like just you as a person. Where would you like to be in your journey?
Not where I'm living now, but I want to be where I'm at right now in 2 years. I want to still be feeling what I feel, and my hunger that I have right now, I want to still have that. I still want to walk down the street and hand water out, and I want to not get complacent. I want to keep pushing. In terms of what I want to accomplish in 2 years, where I want to be in accomplishments in 2 years, I want to have a game out. I want to have a Steam game out. I want to be able to be like professional 3D model and game dev on my titles. I want more accolades. I want more titles.
What do you think is the most important?
Sorry. Or at least, like, if I can't accomplish that, I at least want to do something. Music producer so much. Like, I want to make a music video with one of my models. I want to learn to sing. I want to learn to play an instrument. I want to, something needs to be new.
Okay. Nice. I do admire the curiosity. That's a trait that I certainly believe I have. I'm not going to say that I do, but I believe that I have that trait as well. What is the most important thing about considering when building a business? Or building a brand. We'll say building a brand.
Yeah, the most important thing. Consistency. You'll know if you're passionate about something if you feel the same way in a year. I was warned by every creator that I ever encountered. I was warned to stop working so much. I was warned that I would burn out. I was warned that like you can't keep doing this. This isn't okay. This isn't healthy. Like you're gonna burn out. You need to take time for yourself and rest. And I never understood that because I'm still where I'm at 5 years later with no burnout. I never hit a artistic block. I never. I don't know. Those walls never existed for me.
Hmm. So.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
consistency. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Even if you don't feel like it, keep doing it.
Hmm. Okay. You've met a lot of people in VRChat. You've made a lot of connections in VRChat. Why do you wish to leave?
There's only one connection that meant anything. That's not true. Got back. There's so few connections that mean something. In the longer picture, or the bigger picture of my life, I'm considering a wedding in Italy so that I can invite Boonscap and Onigiri. I'm considering not having a wedding where I live so that people that I've met will be there, and I don't see myself continuing VRChat because I don't think I don't see how I can ever meet those connections and hold those. So few of them, with all the people I've met and all the friends that I've gained, and the popularity and fame, and I had stints in like club scenes for a while, and as a big creator in a club, you get all this dances. Everyone gets mad at you because no one's dancing on them; they're dancing on you. It's tension that I didn't want, but it was like not artificial. They, everyone has they want to show like, hey, it's me. I know you. That's cool. It's flattering, but I don't see myself being able to maintain that, being able to translate that from those initial experiences that we're both so happy to meet each other into what I have with my fiance, for example, or what I have with Panda Bear, or like Onigiri and Boonscap. Like these are friends that transcend the internet to me. These are people that I would shell out thousands of dollars to travel over there and have my wedding there so that they can be there. I don't think there's much more of that I can find from VRChat. I hope to be proven wrong, but I don't spend time in the game anymore. This is the first time I've been on VRChat this year, really.
Wow.
Like, aside from desktop and stuff, like I've been unsure. Like actually, does not true. I was like my fiance. She was She moderates my Discord. Our relationship started in VRChat. But now I don't come to VRChat to socialize anymore. My purpose is gone from it. Like, it replaced World of Warcraft for me. And now I don't have a need to socialize. I'm building a family now, so. Aside from gaining a student and a lifelong connection that way, I don't see how there's anything else left for me here.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing. With someone who is making products for people to use in various ways, I believe this is the question that I forgot earlier, but for someone like yourself who is trying to make like products for people to use in a social sense, or even just like in like on
To enable
Jinxie.
their own
Yeah,
creativity, yes.
right. Thank you. Basically, how are you able to know what the people want when you are not engaging with the people?
Because I only sell assets that I've used on models. So if the model's successful, I take parts off of it that can enable other people's creativity. I don't sell any assets that I haven't used myself. They're all just, they exist because they were already on a model.
Okay. And what about the market? Like, how do you keep up with the market if you're not kind of looking to see what's popular?
I still browse. And, you know, like I do my Discord kit bashes and stuff for my subscribers every month. So, you know, I look at outfits and things and like what avatars are popular and I do market research. It's part of my day.
Okay.
I think TOS needs to change. I think everybody's TOS on the marketplace is wrong. I think there's so much gatekeeping in TOS that that's why anything you buy from me, you can use on a free model or public model. There's every creator has TOS that you can't sell a model for under this amount of money, or you can't have this asset on a free model because someone can rip it off of it. And it's all of this paranoia and fear mongering that isn't happening in the first place. Like, sure it is, but it's not like to a degree. Like, if someone's gonna rip an asset off a model, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna do it regardless of your TOS. They're not gonna care about your TOS. So the TOSs exist to build the ego of the creators. Cupcakes has a very infamous TOS with her models. Every creator talks about her behind her back, and I feel terrible for her for this, because she only lets you use 2 assets of hers on a model. You can't use more than 2 assets of hers on a model, and you can't edit them. You can't change the colors and stuff. Like, you can't personalize them. They exist because that was her OC, and her TOS is so aggressive in that all it does is make everyone talk about her behind her back. Sorry if she finds out about it this way, but by the way, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a culture behind the creators who are involved. I would imagine both in and out of the VRChat scene, but I imagine people do talk. In any creative space, people do talk. So, you know, it's definitely important to, I guess, keep your integrity in mind, and, you know, hopefully people only have nice things to say. I would say, what would be, how do you think let's say a male avatar should look like? Or what is your vision for, like, perhaps the ideal male avatar? What do you think? What are you thinking about that?
Anime protagonist. That's everyone wants to be the main character in their own story. You can't do it. Male stripper or something, you know, like they're not the main character. They're the person that gets like shit on by the protagonist, you know? That feeling so tough and walked up to and then just like put down with one finger or something, you know? Like I think if you were to make successful male models, you would be making something that would like scratch the itch of the inspiration and the motivation people feel from anime, like Solo Leveling, or like you know, like the main characters are so powerful and unique and sharp, and they have a sense of aura about them, I guess is a good way to put it. If you were to make successful male models, you need to, your presentation of that needs to lock eyes. And being like, you can easily distinguish that male model is unlike any other male model. That male model is the main character. And that's what I went for with this model.
Do you think that's what goes into making female models?
No. Female models is all about being hot and or cute or how are you going to view me? Like, when someone buys a female model, it's like, sure, there's a degree to express themselves, and that is the purpose of that. And by the way, I understand the hypocritic nature of my personality type. It's like a female model's like, when you buy a female model, it's like you want to cuddle with someone in the movie world. You know what? You want to be cute for that. You want to be loving or put out a vibe to someone to attach to. It's for someone else as well as it is for you. So that's the hypocritic nature of my personality type I'm talking about. Giving someone the ability to express themselves as a persona, but at the same time, it existing for a purpose that is exterior motivated. I don't know how to explain that.
Okay. So it's for the person who's wearing it, also for the other person who's experiencing it.
Yeah, and so when you buy a male model, it's because you want to feel cool in it, you know? When you buy a female model, it's not so much like that.
How do you
buy male models differently?
Yeah. What do you think about guys wearing your female models?
Amazing. You get to explore themselves. They get to see sides of them they never see. They see, they can unleash emotion and things that are not able to be shown to the real world. You can't act like that on the street. You can't walk like that. You can't sit like that. You can't, like, men are so oppressed in our, that's, don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Men are emotionally oppressed.
We'll say suppressed.
Society for
suppressed. Yeah.
For cultural value. They're taught to be tough and not to cry and not to explore their feminine sides and not to be gay and not to not to be okay with gay people and not to think like, oh wait, that I kind of like that, like I kind of like wearing a skirt, those skeletons in the closet are going to be the real you. And so I love men that present as male but wear female models. I think that person is exploring themselves and they are getting value out of VRChat that other people would be so lucky to have a fraction of.
Yeah. I know you said Michelangelo inspires you, but what inspires you? Not instead of who, what inspires you?
The reflection of art and architecture and what people can achieve on accident through a reflection of their soul. Like, inspiration is an artist's purpose is to inspire. It's not to make money or make something beautiful, it's to inspire other people. The entire purpose of an artist is to inspire. And if you don't inspire people, well, you're not an artist.
Okay. And if you could offer any manner of advice for the people who are listening and watching. It could be about anything that we've talked about tonight. It could be about something that we haven't talked about tonight. But what would you give as a piece of advice for those who are tuning in?
Yeah, like, fail. Do things. Fail at it. Show people. Let them talk behind your back. Like, make something that you're proud of and be like, what do you think of this? Is this okay? Does this look bad? I'm annoying to the people that choose to socialize with me or DM me or something. Like, I'm annoying. Like, I share my work in progress with them. Like, what do you think of this? Do you think this is okay? And everyone's gonna have a different opinion, and they're not gonna think it looks good, or, oh well, it's unique. You tried. Fail at it. Feel bad about it. Let yourself self-doubt and be like, I'm shit. I'm never gonna be good at this, because when you surprise yourself, that confidence will mean more to you. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, I believe, in psychology, where the most confident people are, it's like a bell curve of the most, it starts at the top where you are most confident about your expertise in a field when your understanding or your ability in that field is at its lowest. And when you start to realize how bad you are, your confidence shoots way down. You're not as confident about what you know about something. You're questioning whether you're good at it. You're not going to give advice on it because you learned that it was wrong because of your confidence that it was right. And so not being able to tell yourself and enable yourself to be wrong about something, it's why politics is where it's at, because no one can admit they're wrong.
True.
It's why the world's messed up how it is. Let yourself break and fail and learn and build that bell curve back up through failure and through people looking down on you, until you are at the end of the bell curve where it's starting to climb back up, where you are a master at your craft. You know your way is better than other people's way because you failed at it. I know my work is better than people's work because I failed at it. And they keep putting out the same quality stuff, and I see that because there's no character development. Because they're happy and they're content in where they are. They won't accept that their work is bad. It's why creators like Keanu and Darcy and everybody, whatever her name, I don't remember. She had tried to start drama with me. They dox people for negative reviews. Like, people aren't happy with their work, and instead of being like, oh, sorry, I could change that about that, I can fix that for you, we'll take that as feedback for the next model. No, they go to their emails and they release the public information of the people who bought it. They betray their customers and their personal data because they can't admit they're wrong. And so they continue releasing the same quality stuff year after year. I think you need to accept you're wrong, and I have multiple times. I thought I was good at things that people told me I wasn't, and it hurt. I was angry. Whatever. But in the end, thank you, I guess. Come to me if you're not happy with the model. I'll give you your money back. Next one you won't be unhappy with.
That's pretty based. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. Like, people need to be okay with failing and be okay with also saying, oh, I didn't quite hit the way the way you wanted to, and like, yeah, maybe I can make it better, maybe I can improve. So, yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. And my last question for you would be, where can people find you?
I don't know. You can Google me. Pursu. Just Google Pursu. I'm everywhere.
Should we be promoting your Twitch still? I guess is that.
Go to my Twitter. I release my thoughts almost unfiltered. I'm annoying on Twitter. I delete so many tweets. I put my raw thoughts and emotions on Twitter. I'm controversial. I'm myself. And I regret it, and I delete tweets. So follow me on Twitter. If you want to know me, if you want to see what I do, if you want to learn from me, Twitter and then Discord. If you come back. If you want to come back, then you want to be pinged for it, Discord. But start at Twitter, Pursu777. And the numbers are very meaningful.
Okay. All right. And for those of you who are tuning in, if you'd like to know where you can find me, if you're watching on Twitch right now, thank you for tuning in. You can find me over at YouTube at Nepherti with one eye. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you also for tuning in. I really do appreciate that. You can find me over at Twitch and Twitter at Nepherti with two eyes. And if you'd like to learn more about the podcast and the updates and who I'm going to have on, you can follow the podcast Twitter over at Sweet Talking Pod. And if you'd like to support the production of what I do, I'm a one-woman production team. I do everything myself. So if you'd like to support what I do, I'd really appreciate that over at patreon.com/Nepherti. I'd very much appreciate that. And all of my links are available on YouTube. You can just basically click the link tree link on my YouTube. It takes you right to where all of my links are. Everything is right there. Same thing on Twitch. You can see all of my links there in the About section. Very, very easy to find me and to support me if you so choose. But yeah, with all of that said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode. We're going to be moving on to the post-content portion of the podcast, which will be released over on my Patreon. All of my past guests, well, the majority of my past guests are available. My past conversations, well, post conversations are available over at Patreon, so you get access to all of that. If you decide to subscribe, even starting at $3, you could get access to over 30 plus past post content episodes that perhaps you haven't seen from past guests that have been on the podcast. So check it out. Maybe that'll be something you're interested in. And there are many other rewards there as well that you're welcome to take a look at if you so choose. But for the time being, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we'll be moving on to that conversation right now. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. If something that was spoken here or shared here inspired you or resonated with you, please leave a comment. I'd really appreciate that. Obviously, reach out to Pursu as well if you'd like to talk to him personally and let him know what's up. That would be pretty awesome. And obviously, please do leave a like. That really helps with the algorithm. I'm doing my best to really create content that really goes against the grain when it comes to your very popular, very niche. Well, this is very niche VRChat content. So I really will need your help if I ever expect to hopefully grow and compete with many of the other, we'll say, creators of VRChat on YouTube. So I would sincerely appreciate your support in that regard if you so choose. But in the meantime, I want to thank you very much for tuning in, whether you're watching live right now or on YouTube. I really do appreciate you watching episode 65 of the Sweet Talking podcast with me, Nepherti, and my guest, Pursu. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and taking time out of your evening to talk with us and share with us what you know.
Thank you. It's the only time I've ever let my thoughts out like this, so
yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
I feel great about that.
Hell yeah, yeah.
I kept them to myself for so long.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I could give you a means for you to share your thoughts and for people to know, what's going on. And we'll talk about a couple of additional things in the post content conversation. But for those of you who are tuning in, I want to thank you all very, very much for tuning into this episode. And I hope you will continue to support me along this journey of just trying to create really quality VRChat related content, as we have many, many other guests already lined up for future episodes. So I certainly hope to have your support. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you may be watching this. Please take care, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
If you're showing up in a male model, you're sitting in the corner, No one's talking to you. Most times.